organize the evidence in any way you want, right? You can think about it and organize it as a group and in your own minds in any way you want. And I'm going to ask you to think about the evidence in this way as one of the ways you do consider it. Could all of the things I'm now going to go through, could all of them be true for an innocent man who is falsely accused? Could an innocent person falsely accused have all of the things I'm about to outline to you happen to them? Is that in any way reasonable? Is my question to you. Okay? So, Rosalío Gutiérrez is murdered on May 17th, 2020. His body's found on May 19th, 2020.
What?
Okay?
What?
If the defendant is an innocent
What?
Excuse me? Accused, it should have zero effect on him.
What?
His body was never found.
That is
what the Christ was that? What do you mean his fucking body was found, you fucking idiot?
No way, the death of a person in Kenosha should impact him in any way, innocent and falsely accused.
His body's found on May 19th.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Okay?
Did he really just say that?
Now here's where it starts to get more and more unlucky for him.
This guy's living in fucking fantasy land.
For him to not be the person who committed this offense, right? Because it turns out that this person who should be a random person in
he's going to have to say at some point, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. His body wasn't found.
That Sadie has
Why didn't defense object to that? That's
since
they'll hammer
ended
it,
her
I'm sure.
long-time relationship with you.
Wow.
Okay? So now we have
the defense closing is going to be
not
epic.
just a random city.
I
It
hope.
is the guy. If you're an innocent guy, you're falsely
From the start,
accused.
the prosecution has got the
you have
story
your own
wrong.
Girlfriend, you're not
To the point where they just said that his body had been found in closing.
This is the bloody scene, by the way, Andrew. This is that bloodbath he was talking about.
That looks like a Tuesday. Never mind.
It's literally the most blood in the entire apartment.
That this is not an innocent man falsely accused. And when you put all this evidence together, you will say to yourself, it was quite a plan, but it is not a plan that in the end can succeed because it is betrayed by that speck of blood of Rosalío Gutiérrez. It's betrayed by the electronics, and it's betrayed by the defendant's own lies. And you will find this defendant responsible, and you will hold him responsible despite this plan, that he tried everything he could to avoid responsibility. Thank you.
Okay, let's take a 10-minute break, and please don't talk about the case. Break.
Wow. Wow, what do we think?
Jesus, I mean, like, is this? Did he just pull this from the dumpster? Like, I mean, you've been watching the entire trial. Is this something like he's just concocted right here, or did you like? Even if you think it's BS, because I'm assuming most of this isn't complete BS, but like, do you see how he cobbled it together? Does that make sense to you, or is this just like hypothetical upon speculation upon hypothetical?
What he did was concoct a story based on the best case scenario of all the evidence that he was expecting to get from his witnesses. Half the shit that he said was not true. Half the shit that he said was contradicted by his own damn witnesses. This is a complete fabrication, honestly, and I'm actually disgusted with how he's done this.
I mean, a lot of the evidence that he talked about, it came from like testimony from completely unreliable witnesses. The daughter who was obviously coached, the snitch who had something to gain from lying, and who another witness testified that he said that he would lie in order to save his own ass. Yeah, it's pretty much a fabrication. It's all based on very thin evidence from people who. And he's just really exaggerating a lot of the points, especially about like the blood and the. Oh god, that was awful. That was just like. Ugh.
And let's not forget.
I mean, you're
allowed that they found the body. Andrew? Let's not forget that.
Like,
he said
right. That's the part that I get. That's kind of egregious. Like, is there a line too far where it's like, okay, well, we have to establish that there's no body here. Like, you can't make a material representation that there's a body when there's not.
You don't know if other item had been moved from one place and put in another place.
Objection, Your Honor. There is absolutely no evidence that anything was moved.
That's right. There's no evidence of that. Don't imply something, counsel, that there is no evidence of. None. There's been no evidence introduced in this case by any witness that is even close to that. That assumes facts, not in evidence. Sustained. Move on. to a relevant question.
You're missing.
Don't imply things that have not occurred and are not in evidence. Move on.
Judge is so pissed.
To state 83, please, the during video.
I mean, somebody said in the chat, like, is there a point at which, you know, the person is declared dead if there's a guilty verdict, because that's the presumption? Well, actually, no, they're still technically missing because you still don't have a body, right? So they could turn up, you know, tomorrow, technically.